Hello and welcome to the Rogers Brief. I'm Adam Rogers. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. As you can see, I'm in a different location tonight, an undisclosed Halifax location. And the reason for that is I just came from a special event, which was the launch of 22 Murders, Paul Palango's new book dealing with the mass shooting from April 18th and 19th, 2020, 2 years ago. So it was quite an event. It was at the Old Triangle Bar in downtown Halifax. Those familiar with it will know that the Province House is just up the corner from it, and the statue of Joseph Howe points directly to the Old Triangle. So quite a good association really for Paul Palango. Joseph Howe is known as a fearless journalist many years ago, and actually ran the Nova Scotian out of the building that the Old Triangle is now occupying. So that was great. It was quite an event. Lots of people there, probably 50 or 60 people there. Now, I've been following Paul Palango's reporting since the beginning. He's publishing really since the incident, the tragedy itself. He's been in Maclean's magazine. He's been in the National Post, been in the Halifax Examiner, now mostly published through Frank magazine, which and his reporting has been invaluable, certainly to me as an analyst. It's been very specific, very detailed reporting. He's been unafraid to ask the difficult questions and get into sensitive material if the facts seem to be leading in that direction. So certainly as a lawyer looking at it, as a legal analyst, you couldn't ask for more than the investigative journalism that Paul Palango's been providing. So it's been great that way. I read his book, 22 Murders. I read that this week. Of course, I couldn't go to a book launch without having read the material. It's a really good book. I really recommend it. It's a first-person narrative, so he's telling it from his own perspective, really since the murders took place, and walking through the steps he's taken to try to learn what's going on, to try to get information from the RCMP, which is very difficult. Actually, the book, as you read through it, it shows how difficult it is to get that kind of information. And so for anybody that's looking at getting into journalism or is interested in that, it's a good sort of how-to book for people that are aspiring journalists. There was lots of people there at the launch tonight, and it was quite an event. Like I say, probably 50 or 60 people. What Palango did, he would speak a little bit. He wasn't doing a lot of readings from his book, but what he would do instead is he'd read a little excerpt and then invite somebody up, like Daryl Curry, Jordan Bonaparte, Scott McLeod, others to say their piece and sort of add their story to it. So it was a really interesting event. A lot of people met. I met a lot of people who I was familiar with previously from mostly their usernames, but now I got to meet in person, so it was great for that. Lots of fans of the Rogers Brief, so it was nice to be able to connect with people in person from that perspective. Now, just getting back to the book, because I want to give not only a book launch review, but a book review. The style was great. I mean, what Palango does is he's an incrementalist, and he's self-described incrementalist. He puts information out there and then hopes or expects that somebody's going to contact him to add to it, add to the story, add some further details. And it's really effective. Not only is it a good storytelling method, but it also puts pressure on the Mass Casualty Commission to deal with these facts. And if these facts are out there in the public sphere, then it's more likely that the commission will have to address them themselves. So quite a public service in that regard as well. But not only does he add the facts, which are of course very valuable, but he also then contextualizes it and proposes theories that fit those facts, and tests various hypotheses. But one of the strengths of the book I found was, of course, it's very well researched and well written, but it doesn't force conclusions upon the reader. It gives you enough information to form your own conclusions, especially for people that have been following the story, as many of you will have been doing. So it was very good from that perspective. The event tonight was very good, and there was good speakers there, and lots of people there to sign the book. I know the book's doing quite well, so good for Paul and good for people interested in the story, because It was interesting. The book was written certainly well before the Mass Casualty Commission, and it came out just as the commission hearings were started. But it contains all of the facts that we've been learning through the commission that otherwise weren't being reported. So, quite a valuable service in that regard. The book also contains background information on many of the people. So, if you're looking for additional context, if you want to hear about some of the officers that were involved, especially what he calls the white shirts, the inspectors, and those at the higher levels, well, Palango talks about why they came to Nova Scotia, what their backgrounds were, and some of the controversies that they may have encountered earlier in their careers. So, some great contextual information in that regard. And lots of theories as well which have as yet unrefuted, not effectively refuted in any event. So great that way. Lots to recommend about the book. I say in the piece that he has a cynical awareness, and this is why I think he's a good match with Frank magazine. He has a sort of a cynical awareness of how institutions operate, how they promote themselves to the public, particularly the RCMP, of course. But he is not, in my mind, a conspiracy-minded. He lays out the facts, and if the facts point in a certain direction, he's not afraid to go there. But he doesn't go beyond what the facts themselves will bear. So certainly, there's no reason why anybody couldn't adopt these views or these theories as their own. And like I say, unafraid to state a theory if it does match the known facts. So it's great. And it's been great for me, certainly as an analyst, to have this material. It helps me understand what took place. As a lawyer, you want that investigative material to digest, to sort of come up with a theory of the case. And so Paul Palango and Chad Jones, who I met tonight as well as Paul Palango's researcher assistant and sort of his AI brain, from how he describes it, was there as well. So it was great to talk to Chad and many others. So it tells you, helps us understand what took place, what went wrong, and what kind of things need to change in the future. So very valuable book from that perspective. Highly recommend that people take this up. Not only if you're new to the story and you're trying to catch up on what's taken place, or if you're quite familiar with the story, as many of you would be, and you just want that deeper context. Well, Palango provides it and does it in a way that's very enjoyable as a reader, and so I certainly highly recommend the material to anybody that's interested in this story, interested in journalism, or just interested in how institutions operate in Nova Scotia. So that's my book summary. That's my book launch summary. I'll say great time at the Old Triangle tonight. Appropriate place to do it, and great to meet so many of those people in person that I've met online or seen their references. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back. I'm going to be watching in person tomorrow at the Mass Casualty Commission proceedings. They're a different location tomorrow, but I'll be there watching, and there's a foundational document on police paraphernalia and that whole marketplace. So we'll be back to talk about that when that is over. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.